It was a cold night, and Cherry Cheese was in her bedroom, meticulously preparing her sandwich for its grand debut tomorrow. All her friends were there, helping her get ready. Larry Lettuce was crisp and ready. Barry Bread stood proud. Tom Tomato was plump and juicy, and Pete Pickles and Mary Mayo were by her side. They were a team, a perfect combination. Suddenly, a sharp, crunchy crunch echoed from the kitchen. Cherry Cheese froze. She was certain she had locked the doors. Barry Bread, always the brave one, cautiously peeked out the bedroom door. He saw nothing, no sign of anyone. But in that split second, the door was open. Something slipped past him, unseen. A tiny shadow darted across the room. It was the youngest of the Nuggs, a rogue piece of breaded chicken. Before anyone could react, he leaped onto Cherry Cheese, rolling his greasy crumbs all over her pristine surface. A collective scream filled the room. Panic arose. Larry Lettuce tried to be a hero, attempting to wrap himself around the Nug, but the intruder was too strong and tore right through his delicate leaves. Then, more of them appeared. The biggest Nug, a hulking brute, stomped forward and ruthlessly squished poor Tom Tomato into a pulpy mess. Pete Pickles tried to fight back, but was gobbled up in a single, horrifying bite. Mary Mayo made a run for it, but they cornered her, grabbing her container and squeezing every last drop of mayo from her until she was empty. Amid the chaos and carnage, Cherry Cheese was snatched. They dragged her out of the room, her terrified cries echoing down the hallway as they descended into the darkness of the condiment basement. Another home invasion was complete, but this wasn't just a random attack. The Nuggs were methodical, their actions precise. It was a message, deep in the cold, damp basement surrounded by forgotten jars of mustard and relish. Cherry Cheese realized she was now a prisoner in a war she never knew existed. The war between the Sandwich Syndicate and the Nug Nation had been brewing for years, a silent conflict fought in the shadows of pantries and refrigerators. The Nuggs, once a proud and noble snack, had been cast aside for the rising popularity of artisanal sandwiches. They were relegated to the freezer, forgotten and bitter. Their leader, a fearsome entity known only as the Colonel of Crumbs, had vowed revenge. He orchestrated these raids not just for sustenance, but for dominance. Each kidnapped ingredient was a trophy, a symbol of their growing power. Cherry Cheese wasn't just a victim. She was a strategic pawn. Down in the darkness, she met other captives. A sliver of Swiss cheese, a forlorn slice of ham, and a terrified jar of olives. They shared stories of their capture, each one more brutal than the last. They were the forgotten components, the leftovers of a culinary conflict. Meanwhile, back in the bedroom, the survivors mourned their fallen comrade. Barry Bread, riddled with guilt for opening the door, knew they couldn't just stand by. He gathered the remaining ingredients, a resilient slice of provolone, a spicy dollop of sriracha, and a handful of stoic bacon bits. They weren't a conventional army, but they were determined. They had to rescue Cherry Cheese and put an end to the tyranny of the Nug. Their mission was clear: infiltrate the Nug fortress in the freezer and confront the Colonel of Crumbs himself. It was a perilous journey, fraught with danger. The kitchen was a battlefield, patrolled by Nug scouts and booby traps with sticky spills. But fueled by loyalty and a thirst for justice, the sandwich resistance began its desperate quest. The fate of lunchtimes everywhere rested on their flour-dusted shoulders. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories from the Kitchen Chronicles.